everybody, and welcome back to After the Whistle. We're getting into unnecessary roughness after the Whistle's football segment. I'm here with Aaron McClorey. I'm Aaron Poling, and we're going to get into the Super Bowl. So, Aaron, obviously the Chiefs came away with the win after coming back from 10 down in the fourth quarter. Give me your thoughts. Do you think it was more of Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes and just being the complete gamer he is, or do you think it was more the San Francisco 49ers blew the game?
I mean, I definitely think Jimmy Garoppolo missed more than enough throws. Like, if he makes all the throws that he's supposed to make, the 49ers win this game. Mm-hmm. I think Kyle Shanahan called a game plenty good enough to win. Like, the whole 7 yards per game thing, running the ball, that's a little bit skewed because of the big plays. But I think that 2nd and 5, that was the one mistake Kyle Shanahan made. That 2nd and 5 that turned into, I think, a 3rd and 13 because Garoppolo got sacked when they could have just ran the ball up 20-17. I think that's what you're supposed to do there. Even if it's a 3rd and 3, you're still in better position than 2nd and 5. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a huge mistake because then you pretty much give the ball right back to Patrick Mahomes, and then all of a sudden it's 24-20, and you were just winning by 10.
I think they missed an opportunity because Patrick Mahomes did not play well through, I'd say, probably 50 minutes of this game. He didn't look like Patrick Mahomes. He was missing throws. He got picked twice, which he'd never been picked in the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. Granted, one of those was it may have been catchable, but it was still behind Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, doinked off Tyreek Hill's arm and then right into the arms of, I think, Shavarius Moore is his name.
Yeah, and then the other one was just a bad read, and he hit the defender right in the chest.
That was also on, I believe, 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 16, so he just kind of chucking it up and hoping to get a first down.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes didn't play as well as he could.
He also missed plenty of throws as well.
Yes.
Like, he threw a couple of swing passes in the dirt. There was one easily makeable throw to Tyreek Hill that he just threw low, and it looked like Tyreek Hill caught it. Then Kyle Shanahan challenged it, and out it went. Missed that throw as well.
I'd agree with that, too. My big takeaway is the Chiefs have a couple more years, and they can be dominant. I don't really see that many teams stopping them. Maybe Baltimore, but San Francisco, these two teams probably going to be the two teams of the next decade, I think, because
they've got everybody under contract, man.
They do.
Outside of, because Patrick Mahomes, he's not under contract for much longer, but you're joking if you think he's not going to get a massive contract extension the second that he's eligible this offseason.
Yeah. He's
going to get like at least $200 million offered, maybe more. Tyreek Hill, he got a 3-year extension midseason. Mecole Hardman's a rookie. He's on a 4-year deal. Travis Kelce, he's under contract till 2022. They have a whole lot of weapons. This core's still intact, and Andy Reid, whether he's head coach or it's Eric Bieniemy, this team's going to be around for a while.
Mm-hmm. I think the 49ers, too, that defense, solid.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they held Patrick Mahomes down through 50 minutes. A
large part of that was the D-line. That D-line is crazy.
And I don't think anyone's done that to Patrick Mahomes all year. I mean, kudos to Patrick Mahomes for being able to bounce back from something that, probably hasn't really happened to him that much in his young NFL career. But I think the 49ers, even with Jimmy Garoppolo, he's going to get better. And Kyle Shanahan's going to get better as a coach. Mm-hmm. Not saying he was bad, but
he's a great coach.
Every year you get better. And I think these two teams are probably – it wouldn't surprise me to see these two teams in a Super Bowl again in the next 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah, if this is a Super Bowl rematch, Shanahan versus Reid, or even Shanahan versus Bieniemy. I hope it's Reid, though. I hope Reid doesn't just retire after this. I really hope we do see another matchup just of – like, both these teams' cores. Awesome. And they're going to be together for a while.
So, obviously, this is Andy Reid's first Super Bowl victory. Where does this cement his legacy? Do you think that makes him – where do you not rank him amongst top 10 coaches? Because,
right.
Belichick's probably going to get that, but does this cement his legacy as probably the best offensive mind in NFL history?
I mean, I already had him up there even before winning the Super Bowl. And if he wasn't a Hall of Famer before the Super Bowl victory, he's definitely a lock now.
Yeah,
like he made 3 straight NFC Championship games, or I think 4 straight NFC Championship games, but only one of those was the Super Bowl, like before this. So we already know he's a great coach. Even without this ring, we all would have regarded him as a great coach. Rumors had it he was going to retire before Patrick Mahomes got drafted, though. So that's what makes this really, really awesome, is getting this young quarterback. Might have just kept him around, got him a ring.
It's probably fun to stick around when you have Patrick Mahomes,
Hill, exactly.
Travis Kelce, have all that firepower.
Exactly.
Makes it an easier decision.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, stick around till 2022, Andy. Eat some more cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Cheeseburgers will be there for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
We have some other news outside of the Super Bowl. Tight end Vernon Davis of the Washington Redskins retired during the pregame show So Vernon Davis had a solid career. He was obviously with the 49ers, the Redskins. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, I remember his rookie season because that's the year I started watching the NFL, 2006. He came out. Like, I don't remember him during the draft, but I remember watching him as a rookie and being like, wow. And, I mean, I was 9 years old, so I don't remember specifics or anything. But I remember, like, watching him as a rookie and just insane that he's lasted this long. Obviously a great career. He ran a 4.38 coming out of college. And as a tight end, that's just awesome. That's so fast, especially in 2006. It sucks that he got stuck playing with those bad Alex Smith 49er teams for the first, 4 years of his career. Then Jim Harbaugh came around, and all of a sudden, hey, everybody notices Vernon Davis now. The catch 3, the one to beat the New Orleans Saints, like that was a defining play of his career. Awesome play to see. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a ring.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but I still think of him as he was during his prime one of the top tight ends in the league.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was the prototypical George Kittle before George Kittle was in San Francisco. He kind of set the tone for all these like offensive monsters that you see as tight ends now. I mean, tight ends used to be. They would catch the ball probably 4 or 5 yards down the field, catch the ball, get down. But now you see tight ends as these elite athletes. You got the Kittles, Kelseys, and I'm struggling to think of Evan Ingram from the Giants.
Oh yes.
You have that prototype of tight end now where they catch the ball and they can make some plays. And I think Vernon Davis is what really started to usher that into the NFL.
Oh yeah, the rise of the speedy tight end, and I don't have any stats offhand of him right now, but I know he's got to be close to 6,000 yards, something along the lines of that. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer, truthfully.
Yeah.
But it's been a fantastic career.
If he's not a Hall of Famer, he was a trendsetter, and usually the first person to set that trend doesn't get in the Hall of Fame.
So hopefully he gets in there eventually.
Hopefully, we can hope. Not very much football to talk about today, just besides the big game and Vernon Davis's retirements. Oh, did you see the Hulu ad with Tom Brady?
Oof,
Did that get you?
Man.
It made it seem like Tom Brady was going to retire, but then he, hit us with the Hulu has live sports. That got me at first.
That Hulu money must be insane. That must be absolutely insane. They're getting Tom Brady now. And granted, it's a Super Bowl commercial, so they're paying buku bucks for that.
They've had Tom Brady, the U.S. women's national team, after they won the World Cup for the second straight time.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
And
they got money. And they also have live sports.
Yeah, Hulu has live sports.
No free ads.
Hey, I watch Hulu, so.
No. Netflix has live sports, but.
Yeah, live, Last Chance U.
Yeah. All right, so that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us all season. It's been a couple different faces in and out, but we thank you. We're going to probably come at you a couple times throughout the offseason with some episodes, give you some updates on where people have signed, other head coaches, just kind of talk about just general NFL things.
And also any draft talk that may come up.
Draft talk is probably going to be a big one.
So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on their first Super Bowl win as a franchise, or not their first Super Bowl win, their first Super Bowl win since Super Bowl IV.
Yeah. It's been 50 years.
Yeah, I keep thinking it was their first one, but.
Lions fans, there is hope.
I mean, hey, we've still got a franchise quarterback, right?
Whose back was literally broken because he's been carrying this franchise for 9 years.
Well,
That's beside the point.
They can rebuild his back. Don't know if they can rebuild the rest of the team around him, though.
The $1 Million Man. Thank you for joining us. I'm Aaron Poling.
I'm Aaron McClorey.
Thank you. Hey GVTV, welcome to Full Court Press After the Whistles NBA basketball segment. I'm Aaron Poling.
I'm Aaron McClorey.
Let's get into it. Trade deadline, February 6th, coming up. So we're going to spend most of today talking about trades because trades are fun.
Yes, they are.
So we're going to start locally. We're going to go with Detroit. Detroit's not going to pick anyone up because they're 11th in the standings. They're not playing very well.
Well, I mean, if they pick anyone up, it'll be salary related.
That's true. Do you see anybody on the Pistons getting traded away?
I mean, the names I can think of that could be on the block, Andre Drummond is the most obvious one because he's got a player option worth, I think, $27 million that he said he's going to decline. He said he wants a max contract, which, I'm just not going to go there. But I have a hard time finding out who's going to trade for Drummond because that's a $25 million cap hit. You've got to trade some sort of cap back to match that, and then the Pistons are going to want some kind of asset, like a young player or a pick. And I don't know who can really do both outside of the Atlanta Hawks, who those you figure, like, if that was the thing that was going to happen, that would have gotten done by now.
Yeah, they're last in the East. They're not trading at the deadline to get someone.
Well, and, like, the Hawks and Pistons trade talks have been going on for a while, and nothing's gotten done, so I don't think anything is going to get done. The Pistons also said they want a lottery-level first for Derrick Rose, which isn't going to happen, straight up.
Reach.
Like, I'm good for setting your sights high. I'm happy with the Pistons for doing that because Derrick Rose has another year on his contract. Like, don't just sell for nothing because you're sellers this year, especially when Derrick Rose says he wants to be there. And there's been rumors that Luke Kennard's on the trade block, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what they would get for him. I don't know who wants to. Like, they could get a lot for him, and I hope that's what they're holding out for, but I don't know who's going to trade a lot for him. You know what I'm saying?
Shooting's an asset in this league.
Oh, yeah.
Andre Drummond,
and Drummond can't shoot.
I think it's delusional that he's going to get a max. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a team that'll give him a max, and it's not going to be a very good team.
It's not going to be Detroit for sure.
It hopefully is not going to be Detroit.
It won't be Detroit. Of that, I'm almost certain it will not be the Detroit Pistons.
My worry about Drummond is he's a rebounding machine. Don't get me wrong. He's a good player, but how often is he able to get buckets himself? And a max player can't just be a dude that catches the ball and dunks it off a lob or gets rebounds and scores. Like, you need to be able to create your own offense. He's gotten better in his back to the post game, but he seems to, like, shy away from it.
You also just, like, you can't be paying that much for a center who can only do that in today's NBA.
No.
Like, you need, like, if you want a max contract, you better be like Karl Anthony Towns on offense, especially because Drummond is not that great on defense.
No.
Like, he's also kind of a lazy defender as well, which bothers me. When he tries, he can be a fine.
Yeah.
But there's times where it just doesn't work. And, like, maybe Svi Mykhailiuk gets moved. Maybe Langston Galloway gets moved. Maybe Markieff Morris gets moved. But
they're not going to get much in return.
Yeah, like, and I think they're going to hold out for way more than they're going to get in return. So, yeah, ultimately, I think the Pistons stay the course, to be honest with you.
Going from the 11th worst team in the league, how about let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks, the number 1 team in the East. Do you see them trading for anyone?
So there was a rumor, and I don't know if this is like a rumor or it's confirmed, but it was out there on Twitter that the Memphis Grizzlies straight up asked the Milwaukee Bucks for the Indiana Pacers first-round pick this coming year, which they got in the Malcolm Brogdon trade, for Andre Iguodala, which, yeah, playoff experience, that'd be nice. The problem is you've also got to send salary back again. And the Bucks don't have any bad contracts to give up outside of Ersan Ilyasova, but he's a useful player for them.
Yeah.
So unless the Bucks are adding like a really cheap option, like a $3 million level player that they don't have to send any meaningful salary back, there's nothing they really can do, honestly. And the Bucks are, 46-7, 42-7. Giannis is putting up a ridiculous stat line, something like 30, 13, and 6, and he's playing 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
And Chris Middleton is also putting up nearly 20 points. He's playing 29 minutes a night. And to the people that say he doesn't deserve an all-star bid, you're crazy, knowing that he's playing 29 minutes a night and putting up these numbers on a winning team and playing great defense, unlike Zach LaVine. So, honestly, unless the Bucks can literally add like a 6th or 7th man for nothing but a first-round pick, like if they can, like I can't even think who it would be. And yeah, like, what if they get a steal that falls to them with Indiana's pick? Like, if that's the 22nd pick, if someone falls to you that's really good, then boom, you got a young piece. Or you can just trade that on trade that on draft night.
Mm-hmm. See, I think the only thing, because shooting is so prevalent in this league, maybe you'd want to add an extra shooter, but it's going to be hard to. You don't have anything you can really give up.
Exactly, and plus,
you haven't even lost 10 games. We're almost to the All-Star break.
Yeah, and if the Bucks end up winning this offseason, I think they just like stay the course and draft whoever.
Yeah.
And even if they just make the finals, I think that's all they got to do. Make the finals, then sign Giannis, and there you go.
They have. I think they have enough to at least make it through the East this year.
They should.
They should. No one talks about them, but they're kind of almost in that historic pace. Not that they're going to beat the record, but it's almost the All-Star break, and they haven't lost 10 games yet. That's pretty impressive.
Exactly. Like, I don't believe they're going to be going 74-8 because they would literally have to go 34-1 the rest of the way.
Yeah,
and that is not happening.
No.
They're 42-7. They're not going to set the wins record, but this is a team that's like a 65 win pace team. Like, I don't have that like exact math in my head, but that sounds about right. And a 65-win team, this Milwaukee Bucks, yeah, I believe it.
So we're going to move on to the Toronto Raptors. A team that we didn't think would be this high in the standings. I mean, especially after losing a player of the caliber of Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm. For nothing, too.
For nothing, yeah. I mean, they won a championship, so I mean...
Yeah, I'm not going to say they lost him for nothing, but, like, they got nothing this season in return.
Yeah. So they're still the number 2 team in the East, which is...
It's safe to call them defending NBA champions.
Yeah, I figured they'd be battling out for the 6-7 spot.
That's where I thought they'd be, too, like maybe the 5 seed.
Do you see them being able to add anything? Because it doesn't really look like they have much to give up in the way of trying to add someone.
Yeah, it's like maybe they trade out Serge Ibaka for Danilo Gallinari, but that's expiring contract for expiring contract, so it's not the worst deal for either team, like Thunder and Raptors. But I don't really know what Gallinari, like he brings three-point shooting to the Raptors, yes, but he also takes away defense. And then the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're also trying to like make a little playoff push themselves. So I don't think they're going to get rid of Gallinari either, and I don't know what else the Raptors could really get, you know, because they don't have any big money deals that they should be getting off the books. Like, you know, Kyle Lowry, they're not trading him. Pascal Siakam, they're definitely not trading him. Marc Gasol, I think they're just going to let him, you know, stick it out because, you know, he's a 35-year-old on the number 2 seed in the East. They're not trading him away.
No.
And, you know, Serge Ibaka, he can definitely help too. So I don't know what else they're going to trade out. Norman Powell maybe. But I can't think of anyone that they could get that would help them either. Because this is a really stacked team. Like, their entire rotation can play on any given NBA team on any given night. So I really don't see them doing anything because the only reason they should be making a trade is if they can get another star. Someone next to Pascal Siakam that can really like be his true running mate.
Yeah.
And a depth piece isn't going to do that. A depth piece isn't going to move the needle for these guys past the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right, let's move on from possible trades coming up to a trade that happened in the offseason. Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and the Pelicans got back the shipment of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram,
Josh Hart,
yep,
and four first-round picks. One of those picks being 4th overall that was traded to the Atlanta Hawks for 2 other first-round picks.
So, give me your synopsis on that trade because we were talking about it before we started shooting. Do you think that LA maybe gave up too much for
Anthony Davis?
For Anthony Davis, yes.
I mean, I've seen plenty of people say that they have, and I have no idea where they're getting that from because the Lakers are number 1 in the East right now, or number 1 in the West right now. You've got 2 MVP candidates on the same roster, and sure you could have kept Josh Hart, and he'd have been nice as a shooter, and he's not really doing a whole bunch for New Orleans. But to say that you gave up too much by giving up Lonzo and Ingram, neither of those guys would be doing anywhere near what they're doing right now on this Los Angeles Lakers team. And Brandon Ingram, this is a true most improved player of the year candidate. Like, he's averaging, I don't know if he's at 25 points a game anymore, but he just made his first All-Star team in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And it's deserved because he looks really nice. And Lonzo Ball, the last 20 to 25 games, he's finally looking like he's turning it on. His shooting looks good. He doesn't shoot with that weird little form anymore where he's turning his hand like that. He's changed that up, and he's actually hitting threes now. He just threw like a 3/4 court alley-oop lob to Zion Williamson. That looked awesome. And the Lonzo to Zion connection, that's just going to be awesome for years to come. So I think both teams won this trade. I don't think either team gave up too much. I think this is truly one of those win-win deals, unless Anthony Davis leaves the Lakers, and that would be a mistake for him.
Unless the Lakers win a championship this year. Because if they win a championship this year, then it's all going to be worth it because LeBron's getting older. And if Anthony Davis isn't there and they don't win, then I'd say it's a flop. My biggest issue with this trade is giving up 4 first-round picks. That is a lot.
Plus, now you can't trade anything else because your second-round picks are going to be bottom-of-the-barrel second-round picks.
Yeah. And you saw what happened to Brooklyn when they traded all those picks for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and that whole crew. But the only difference is you're getting at least a prime superstar where they were getting towards the end of their careers.
The only thing that's really different is Anthony Davis is on an expiring contract, and if he doesn't re-sign, then, oh, man, the Lakers are screwed.
Yeah, because...
Well, they're not necessarily screwed because then you have max cap space, but...
But LeBron is going to retire eventually.
Oh, yeah, he's 34, 35.
The moment he retires or leaves LA, that team is going to be in shambles. But this is kind of what LeBron does, though. LeBron shows up at a team. They play. They max out trying to get his talent.
Yep.
When he leaves, shambles. I mean, Cleveland the first time. Cleveland now.
Oh, Cleveland now's even
Cleveland
worse.
now is 14th in the East. Let's see, who else? Miami. Miami was, like, out of the 4 teams that he left, they're in the best situation. But
granted, Miami also signed Chris Bosh to, like, 5 years, $116 million, and then the first year of that deal is when he had blood clots in his lungs, and nobody could have foreseen that, and that's just straight up sucks.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else you can do about that, and other than say, oh, that sucks so much.
But my only worry for LA is if they don't get a championship out of LeBron. I'm not saying that signing LeBron would be a failure, but it's going to be rough because you're going to have to rebuild. The pieces that you thought you were going to have for the rebuild are gone.
I mean, if LeBron retires and you have, say, 29-year-old Anthony Davis under contract for 2 more years maybe, you can try to make something work out of that.
Yeah, that'd be fine, but if, like we were saying, if Anthony Davis leaves, though.
Oh, boy, because then you're going to have to, like, go and try to trade for somebody or sign whoever, and I guess signing somebody for the Los Angeles Lakers isn't too hard, but that's really not ideal.
Well,
especially compared to LeBron and AD.
But think about it, though. Before LeBron went there, nobody was signing in LA.
That's true.
So, I mean, the lure of LA isn't necessarily enough to just lure people out there anymore. Same with the Knicks. Like,
well, the Lakers at least have championships to their name. The New York Knicks are the league's laughingstock, and you can do nothing to change my mind on that.
Also, the league's mecca. Madison Square Garden is a mecca of basketball.
Unfortunately,
and for
sell the team, Dolan.
For a long time, they'd lure players over to play in New York on that premise.
Poor Carmelo and poor Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say to that.
I'm definitely thinking of where you're going to go to a city. I mean, it's going to be LA. It's going to be the beach. You're going to be in flip-flops and shorts all year.
Yep.
Well, people in Detroit are, scraping 3 inches of ice off their car. You're going to be
shivering on the walk inside.
You're going to be, wiping 2.5 inches of sand off your, shoes while you're at the beach.
Maybe wiping some sweat off your brow like, oh, oops.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be so miserable. But, I mean, the team's just not going to be that good. It's just unfortunate. Exactly,
because, like, if it's LeBron, you have to, like, find someone to perfectly fit LeBron, too, because not everyone fits next to him. And, yeah, it could be bad if Anthony Davis does not re-sign. But it's a pretty good fit right now, so they didn't give up too much if Davis re-signs.
One last thing. Where do you think Anthony Davis goes? Do you think he re-signs or do you think he goes elsewhere?
I definitely think he re-signs because you can get the Supermax. And you're playing with LeBron at least 2 more years, and you're probably getting a player option, so it's a 4-year deal. And if you don't play with let's say you play with LeBron 2 more years, and then it's your last year on your contract if he leaves. So last year of your contract in LA, so what? And they're going to do something else. They're going to try and build more on this LeBron and AD duo.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on the Full Court Press. Catch us next week, and we'll talk about some of the trades that did go down on the deadline. For Aaron Poling,
I'm Aaron McClorey.
Thank you, and have a great evening.
What is going on, GVTV? Welcome back to another episode of 10-Minute Misconduct After the Whistles Hockey segment. I'm Kevin Lepper.
I'm Aaron Poling.
I'm Aaron McClorey.
Let's get right into it here, fellas. Obviously, the most important news in the NHL this whole season is that Gritty's violence investigation got dropped today. What a shocking turn of events there.
Oh my
Gritty's
goodness.
A free man.
So for those of you who don't know, everybody's favorite mascot, Gritty of the Flyers, he allegedly assaulted a 13-year-old, like punched him in the back or something. So it was a whole investigation thing, but today that came to a close because there was no evidence to support that he actually did that.
So how does that work? Like, they arrest the mascot, or they arrest the dude in the mascot? Like, say Gritty does actually get convicted, would they Gritty have to sit in jail, or would he be able to go to games?
No, he'd be in jail.
He'd be in jail?
They lock him up forever. It's funny because I saw a couple of tweets and people were talking about Gritty like he's like an actual thing, and they don't realize that there's a person in there.
Oh my God.
It made me crack up.
Joe Schmo? You mean Joe Schmo's the one who did it, not the actual mascot?
Oh my goodness.
So, Gritty news aside,
Yeah. It's still shitty to be a Red Wings fan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to be in Detroit right now.
We're used to it.
Yeah. But
they'll be better eventually.
Yeah. But there is one thing I do want to bring up about the Red Wings that I found very interesting. It was I think it was Elliot Freeman said in his 31 Thoughts that he was interested about hearing about the Jesse Puljujarvi is disgruntled and he's probably done in Edmonton. There's no way they can bring him back and have him play. He's just been too much of a hassle. There's also another player on the Red Wings who was kind of a hassle to sign last time he was up for a deal, and his name is Andreas Antanasiou. So we talked earlier in the year, me and Kevin on the show, about a Jesse Puljujarvi for Antanasiou trade 1-for-1, and I was absolutely against that. But if you can get a pick out of getting Puljujarvi, because I mean maybe he's a reclamation project in Detroit that works, kind of a la Robbie Fabry. But if you can also get that second-round pick, this draft is super deep through the first 3 rounds. So give me your thoughts on that.
Well, we talked about that last week, how deep this draft is. So if you're getting an extra pick with that trade, I'd say it's a good move for the Wings.
I mean, an extra pick at this juncture anyway, I think is good for the Wings. Like, get yourself a depth defenseman because you've only got really like 3 or 4 guys that I really trust coming through the ranks right now.
Yeah, I mean, but you can address that once you're good through free agency because there will be always depth defensemen in free agency.
I'm saying, like, just get, like, a top 4 guy, top 6 guy for sure.
Well, we can see. I mean,
An extra pick in the first 3 rounds is extremely valuable is what I'm saying.
they have a couple opportunities this year to get a very good pick, including probably what's looking like a projected top 4 pick because there's no way anyone's going to catch the Wings.
Well, there's no way the Wings are going to catch anybody.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it.
Yeah.
But in other exciting news, we talked about it last week, the Battle of Alberta.
Oh,
it did
man.
not disappoint.
Neither
It
game's
delivered.
disappointed. Both those games were
Oh,
amazing.
man. That's some old-time hockey right there, and you just love to see it.
The first game that was on Wednesday ended up going to a shootout. It was 4-3 in Edmonton. There were 2 fights in the first period. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, former first overall pick, dropped the gloves with Sean Monahan. It was
Not
Monahan's.
expecting to see that one.
No, not at all. Like, I was watching it via nefarious means on the Edmonton Oilers side, and the Oilers commentator all of a sudden says, "Oh, and Nugent-Hopkins is dropping the gloves," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" Of all people, it's that guy, because immediately everyone's thinking it's Cassian and Tkachuk, and they did end up dropping gloves, which Cassian landed a few, and then Tkachuk just slipped. So it was kind of disappointing to see, but there were a whole bunch of nice hits there, a whole bunch of. It was just great hockey to watch.
And then the shootout, the bat flip at the end.
Man, that shootout just ticked me off. I like the Edmonton Oilers this year. Then Nugent Hopkins and McDavid both hit the post.
Yeah, so that's the thing I wanted to bring up too is he did the stick flip after Connor McDavid and Nugent Hopkins both beat him, but they hit the post. So like a couple inches, maybe a little, maybe it hits the inside of the post instead of square on the post.
Yeah.
You're losing that shootout. So they have the audacity to stick flip when you literally did nothing.
Exactly. And then Draisaitl on that last attempt, that wasn't. I mean, Draisaitl was gassed. In that overtime period, he really looked so tired. But David Riddick just came out and kind of jumped on the puck when Draisaitl tried making his move. And by then it's like, Draisaitl made a bad move. Do you really want to brag about that?
I think it was a good move by Riddick to come out and get the puck.
It was
Fair
definitely a high emotion game.
Big time.
That's definitely a reason for it.
But if you're going to stick flip, maybe you shouldn't go out and give up 6 goals the next game.
That is true.
8 goals.
Oh, yeah, 8. I'm sorry. That's right, because he went back in after he got pulled because the best thing in hockey happened.
Goalie fight.
It used to be number 1, the best thing in hockey was a lacrosse goal. Nope. Scratch that.
That's normal now. So
yeah, that's normal. Everyone does that. No, the best thing in hockey, goalie fights.
Mike Smith landed some haymakers, man. That was so nice.
Cam Talbot, to his credit, he showed up. It can't be easy fighting in that stuff.
No way.
I mean,
not at all.
Obviously, you'd have to say Mike Smith won the fight, but I mean, props for Cam Talbot. I mean, he was throwing haymakers on some defensemen, so he had to answer to someone.
Did you guys see the picture? I forgot who it was. It was when the scrum was happening, and there was an Oilers player.
Yeah, it was Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, and he was pointing to
center ice. Yeah.
To go fight.
Oh my goodness.
You also got to remember, Cam Talbot spent quite a few years in Edmonton, so.
And then Mike Smith was in Calgary last season, so that's
Yeah.
just awesome to see, like, former teams going at it.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting hockey to watch.
The Battle of Alberta.
I couldn't watch the game, unfortunately, but I was on Twitter while it was happening, and it was going crazy.
They still have another matchup to go this year, too.
Yeah, it's in April, though, so it may cool off by then. Hopefully not, because
Hopefully it's a playoff matchup,
that
man.
would probably be the best thing for the NHL.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord, yes.
100%.
And the Oilers' depth, Like their depth scoring, it's working now.
It's getting better.
Oh yeah.
It's probably not what you want to make a playoff run, but it's getting better.
Like if they can all get hot, and I mean they're definitely not going to be scoring 8 goals a game.
Yeah.
But they're on a 5-game point streak. Like that shootout loss is the only loss they've had in the past 5 games.
Yeah, so I was going to bring up, if you're Calgary, even though you won one of the games, you can't really feel like you won because they played each other twice.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really feel that great coming out of that.
No way.
Because you conceded 3 points to them.
Yeah.
You picked up 2 points, but you conceded 3 out of the 4 points. Plus, you got blown out. I think on
Big time. On their
home
own
rink.
ice,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got blown out on your own rink. Like, you needed to come to play. Your stars didn't show up. Johnny Gaudreau, it's Sean Monahan. We have talked about this multiple times. They need to be themselves. I mean, they're playing fine for, like, you know, not superstars, but those two are bona fide superstars, both scoring over 90 points last year. They're on pace to only, you know, get 60 this year.
Yeah, that can't be happening for a team that's, especially a team when Edmonton is good, you need to be good too.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but they're trying to make a playoff run this year, and all indications that they're talking for trade targets to pick up another offensive forward, and you need someone to come in and push those two because they need to be better.
Like, you keep thinking Chris Kreider's the most popular name that's up right now,
Yeah.
and I mean, Calgary, he'd be a nice fit there. Maybe Jason Zucker if the Wild move him.
Chris Kreider, his name's getting brought up a lot, and there's a couple different places. Dallas is one of them.
Oh, yeah, because Dallas can't score either.
They could use the offensive pop. I mean, they have the defensive game, which is something you usually never said about Dallas, but they just don't have the offensive game.
I'm certain having that nice goalie in net helps too.
Oh, yeah, having Van Bishop definitely helps make up for some of your mistakes, but it's kind of interesting, the NHL. So I'm just going to bring up a couple of theories of teams. Dallas was running gun, and New York Islanders, they were both running gun teams where they'd win games 6-5, and it wouldn't be uncommon for them to put up 6 and the other team to put up 5 on them.
Right.
Those are two of the stingiest defenses in the NHL
Oh,
now.
yeah.
It's really weird to see. It used to be when you went and played on the island, you knew you were going to score at least 4, and you had to be careful not to give up, 5.
Right.
But now their game is changing to where they play defense more. Do you see kind of the league shifting more of its defense first mantra, a la like the New Jersey Devils when they were winning their cups in like the late 2000s, where they're really solid defensively and scored just enough goals offensively to win? Or do you see teams see the game going towards kind of more like teams like the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they're running gun, high octane offense, playing a little bit of defense and hoping their goalie can bail them out?
I mean, I think you see all the rage about offensive defensemen these days.
Yes.
And I feel like that's where the league's going to go at least for a couple of years. But I don't know how many championships are going to be won that way. And ultimately, like, that's going to decide where the league's going to go, because that's every single league's a copycat league, right? So you figure, like, how'd the St. Louis Blues win last year? They won pretty defensively, right?
Yeah.
So
Grit and grind. Big bodies in the front of the net.
Hey, I just want to put it out there. Right after the All-Star break last year, the St. Louis Blues were in last place, and they came back and won the Cup.
Yeah.
Who's in last place right now?
Yeah.
with
I'm just
insurmountable
saying,
odds.
maybe.
St. Louis was like 7 points back, though. The Red Wings are like, what, 25 points? I don't even think the Red Wings have 25 points on the season.
No, probably not.
I think they have 28.
Okay,
So-
I take that back.
Well,
It's a little different because I've had this conversation with people that, you're not out of it till you're out of it, but when
You're out of
when
it.
we're out-
your
when
goal
you're out of it.
differential is 100, you're probably out of it.
Yeah.
Not plus 100, minus 100.
Minus.
Yeah. There's nobody even like plus 40 right now.
Yeah.
I don't expect anybody. Don't
No,
expect
you
anybody to
expect
be.
that, no. One team I wanted to bring up is the Colorado Avalanche, because they also play that run and gun style, but they have defensive help coming. Give me your take on like what you think the Avalanche can do, because they have this top line that's dominant, and then they have a second center in Nazem Kadri who's pretty good and he can put up points, and then you have wingers on his line like Jonas Donskoy that are absolutely overplaying what they're having the best seasons of their career.
Yeah, this is a career year for Donskoy for sure.
Yes, Donskoy was in San Jose third or fourth line.
To be
winger.
fair, he hit a game winner in the Stanley Cup final, so
So did Devontae Smith-Pelly.
fair enough.
So-
Smith-Pelly's elite.
Yeah, I was gonna say just because it's cool to be clutch, but no one's going out and paying $6 million for your one clutch goal.
That's true, but Donskoy is not getting $6 million a year.
No. So I guess what I was trying to bring up was How far do you think Colorado can really go? Because they don't really have the chops defensively that other teams in the West do. But those teams that are really good defensively struggle offensively, and Colorado does not struggle offensively.
Oh, yeah, not at all. You see, the thing that bothers me about Colorado is their penalty kill goes or their power play goes dead sometimes, and their penalty kill is really just not great. They need a center that can be winning faceoffs constantly, because Nazem Kadri is not the greatest on, like, he's a good faceoff guy, but he's not constantly winning faceoffs like you'd want.
McKinnon, though.
Yeah, McKinnon, and McKinnon's not even the center on the power play, I believe.
No.
So that's why I say,
tells
like,
you why.
So that's why I'm saying, like, maybe get a third-line center that you at least put on the penalty kill, because then that can stop some goals, and you know Colorado's able to score 5-on-5. This is the leading team in the NHL in scoring. So I don't really know. Maybe they don't really need any defensemen right now. I'd definitely say get a center that can give you some experience. And plus, playoff experience helps, too. If you can get any there, I don't know where you're getting it from necessarily, but if you can get it, do it.
Are we talking like how far we think they can go in the playoffs this year?
Yeah. Because I'm assuming they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, they will.
Despite the only way they won't is if they have like a dramatic, like they don't win for the rest of the season.
They've also proven that they can beat St. Louis. They can put plenty of points up on St. Louis.
Yeah.
I think they can make it to the conference finals. I feel like they'll probably, because who would they play right now if they?
They would play Dallas right now.
Yeah. See, St. Louis and Colorado won't be a finals because they're
It'd be second round matchup.
Yeah, which is I hate that.
I do too, man.
Yeah, the NHL playoff format is not.
Because then it'd be like Colorado versus what, like Vancouver, Edmonton. I mean, Colorado versus Edmonton in the Western Conference Final. You're lying if you say that wouldn't be a cool matchup.
Exciting, yeah.
I would love that. McKinnon versus McDavid. Hello.
Yeah, but the Pacific is nowhere near as good as the Central.
Oh yeah, not at all.
You want to jump in, Kevin? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying was I think they could easily. So but they played Dallas the first round though.
Because that's the best team in goals against versus the best team in goals for.
Yeah.
Okay. Without thinking about matchups, just how far do you see them if they get hot at the same time?
If they get hot,
how far do you
finals,
see the conference finals?
Yeah.
What about you?
I could definitely see the Avalanche going like if they're all hot, they can go all the way. I definitely think they could.
See, I don't think Colorado will beat teams in the East though.
If,
I just think
if they get hot, they could. But
I don't think so. Just they don't play enough defense. If you put them up against, I mean, it'd be great to see Colorado, Boston, those two top lines going at it.
Oh yeah.
Boston has like some defensive pieces that could slow them down. I don't think Colorado does. And same thing for Colorado versus Washington, or like Colorado versus Pittsburgh, or even Colorado versus Tampa. And if somehow a Christmas miracle happens in Canada, Colorado versus Toronto, I still don't really see. I see Colorado's defense being the downfall of them.
I see Toronto's I would see Toronto's defense failing before Colorado's defense for what that's worth.
Yeah.
You don't think Colorado could beat Toronto?
I think Colorado could beat Toronto.
I think
sure.
they could. I'm just saying that I think Colorado's not really adept well enough to stop high octane offenses.
That's true. Like Cale Makar is probably their best. Like this is no shade to Cale Makar, but he's probably their best defenseman right now.
He's their best offensive defenseman.
And he might be their best defensive. Like he's good on defense. I watch him.
He needs to grow to eventually become the superstar that he's got the potential.
That's
to
true.
Be. But
I see plenty
he's
of
only
good
20.
things. I see plenty of good things from that kid. There's also Eric Johnson, Ian Cole.
Yeah.
So those guys play pretty well. Sam Girard's also more of an offensive defenseman as well.
Is that it? You guys got anything else this episode?
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good.
Man, we've covered a lot of stuff.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week's episode of 10-Minute Misconduct. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin Lepper.
I'm Aaron Poling.
I'm Aaron McClorey.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.